Hey, what's up? I'm Liz, this Puts Say DIY, and that's right, today we're going to be looking at the Raspberry Pi, an open source microcontroller, but with a bit of a twist. The Raspberry Pi has become really popular in the past few years as kind of the overall open source solution for things like Internet of Things solutions, gaming. You may have heard of like the little Nintendo emulators. The Pi is really the way to go. I've never actually played with one before. I recently picked one up because, I'm super into open source and I thought, why not? Go for it. The thing with the Pi that's always kind of prevented me from jumping into it is you can't really do much with just the Pi. Similar, like when you get the Arduino, you can plug it into your computer and you can start doing stuff with it. But the Raspberry Pi, you need other peripherals for it to basically work because it's not like a microcontroller where you program things onto it. It's basically a standalone Linux computer. You can run Linux operating systems on it. The Raspberry Pi distribution is called Raspbian, but to be able to run a distro on it, you need a micro SD card, the tiny one, and you need to load that on there, so you need to invest in a micro SD card. Now, not only that, you need to have a way to display it with HDMI. I'm just going to be hooking up to my TV, but if you want a more portable solution, you might be looking at a little screen or something like that. And then, of course, you have to be able to control it. You need a keyboard and mouse, which I have a keyboard and mouse, but I actually went with, picked this wireless Logitech combo. It's a keyboard and mouse. I'd actually been looking at it just to have in general, so figured it'd be good for the Raspberry Pi 2, and then that goes into USB dongle there. And then you also need to have internet access for the Pi. It has an Ethernet port, so I'm actually going to be using a very long old Ethernet cable that I had lying around. I actually had this in college because college there wasn't Wi-Fi in my dorms. They actually started installing Wi-Fi in the dorms like 2 years after my class, so they followed them. But anyway, so this is an old Ethernet cable. And then of course you need power for the Pi. It runs on 5 volts, 2 amps, which your standard phone charger will probably do that. The Samsung one operates on that, so that's how I'll be powering it, with a micro USB cable. So I didn't see like very small little board here that you can do a lot with, but to do anything of substance with it, you need the peripherals. And now there are a lot of projects with the Raspberry Pi that you can do, but a lot of them get really advanced really fast, and this is my first time, as I said, looking at this board. And I wanted to do something simple with it, but also something a little bit unique to kind of put up on the channel. And so I started browsing around and I came across a project that really piqued my interest. It is using the Pi to stream Steam games from your PC to your TV, similar to the Steam consoles or the NVIDIA Shields. And for obviously a fraction of the price, those devices go for hundreds of dollars. This, once you get all the peripherals in, looking at about 50 bucks. So not bad. So we're going to try that out today. I'm not going to do a full-on intro on the Pi, first of all, because I'm just learning, and also there's so many sources already out there for you to learn how to get started with the Pi. I'll link the ones that I use down below. So let's jump right into trying to get it to work as a Steam streamer. So one of the first things to make this DIY link box actually starts with your computer. Make sure you have GeForce Experience installed. If you have a GeForce graphics card, an NVIDIA graphics card that is, you should probably already have that installed, but just in case, make sure. And then next thing we're gonna have to do is go to Settings, and then General, Shield tab right there. And make sure you allow your PC games to stream to Shield devices. And then the next thing is going to be going over to the Raspberry Pi to set up a thing called Moonlight, which is an open source version of the software that's on NVIDIA Shields, which is actually an Android-based operating system. So that's why it's kind of goes hand in hand with Linux, because if you know, Android is a form of Linux, and so that's why all of this works together. So let's go over to the Raspberry Pi. So now we're gonna go to the Raspberry Pi and get some of that stuff going. So I'm following along with this guide because this is my first time using a Raspberry Pi, and I kind of want to show that you can follow these step-by-step things and get a doable project going. So you don't have to be like a master of Linux to be able to use a Raspberry Pi, or at least I hope, or I guess we're going to find out. First thing we're going to do is open the terminal. and that's at the top corner. I'll make sure it's... Okay, opens up the terminal. And so now we're gonna type in this command here showing all dependencies are installed. So it's just gonna kind of run a check. So it looks like sudo apt. Do I know what any of this means right now? No, I don't. Alright, so we've typed in all this stuff here and enter. And it's reading the package list. It gives a little percentage. Okay, cool, that works. Awesome. Now we're gonna configure the audio. Force the sound to come out the HDMI port. Oh, that's pretty cool. So we do sudo nano /boot /config.txt, and this loads the nano text editor, so that's interesting. So I guess we go to the bottom of this. So I went to the bottom of the text file, I'm putting in the HDMI_drive equals 2. I'm hitting enter. Press Control Z to exit, and then Y to confirm. Okay, now we're gonna try to install Moonlight. That's next. So then you do sudo nano /etc /apt /sources.list and enter. After this loads text editor, add the following line. Okay, so deb http://archive.itimer.nl/raspbian/moonlight. And this is the open source thing that will help you to run the names. So. Okay, so Control Z to exit, and then do the command prompt sudo apt-get update. And it looks like it's getting it. So it looks like it's installing stuff now. Okay, so now we're gonna call it to install Moonlight. So that's sudo apt-get, then install, then Moonlight-embedded. And enter. It's unable to locate package Moonlight-embedded. Damn. Okay, so I ended up struggling with this for a bit. I eventually just reformatted the SD card, reinstalled Raspbian onto Raspberry Pi, and then I found an article on the GitHub page for Moonlight, which is the open source streamer, that individually listed all of the installs that it needed. So what I did was I went one by one, installed each of these. I didn't install them as a package. I installed them one by one. And then I went through the same steps I went through before, with the exception of I was actually saving the text files. I wasn't doing that before. This should say Control X to exit and then Y to confirm. If you do Control Z, it just closes out the notepad. So that's of note and a bit of a problem with the article that I've been referencing. So I just now updated the install and then installed Moonlight Embedded, and now as you can see, it's giving me the prompt to actually install it. This is the furthest I've ever gotten, and so we're gonna do yes. And with any luck, we won't get any errors. And woo! We did it! Alright. Okay, so now the next step is going to be configuring Moonlight. And the way that we do this is we need our computer's IP address, which I have grabbed, and then what I'm going to be doing is pairing it to the Raspberry Pi. So I'm going to put in Moonlight pair, and then my IP. connecting. Following pin on target PC. Alright, so now I can go over to my PC and put in that pin. I'm assuming there's some directions though. Yep. Okay, so this may be it. This may be how it works. I'm just gonna run over. What's the pin? 7405. Okay, so I put in the code and I'm clicking connect. And then not seeing anything on this screen, so let's see what happens over here. It says successfully paired. So now I should be able to run games. Let's try it. So now I'm gonna launch Steam Moonlight stream, and then you put in the thing 1080, so that's resolution, 30 FPS, and then app, put in Steam. Okay, let's see what happens. It found my card and everything. That's pretty cool. I think I probably have to open up Steam on my computer. Oh hey, my resolution definitely changed. That's awesome. Let's open up Steam. It is streaming my computer! Right to it, oh my gosh. Go zoom out with the camera. Okay, it's like a little glitchy, but this is so cool. Oh my gosh, it's doing it. Okay, so we successfully had it come over, but I had too much running on my actual desktop to really have it run successfully. I was actually doing a render on another video that was not wise. So let's try again. Moonlight stream 1080 30 FPS app Steam. Now it's gonna give me a code. It's wild, like, oh, it just knows it, and it's coming through my TV. Look at that. I can control it with the controller. It's amazing. Oh my gosh. Let's try some Rocket League. And the audio is coming through my TV. There goes the pie. It just fell off the thing, but that's okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I can't believe this worked. Super smooth. Oh my gosh. I missed the ball, but like, this is amazing. I'm in shock, and just so you know, so I'm using my USB powered remote plugged directly into the Raspberry Pi. Again, it figured it out right away, which is awesome. And I just like lost another point again, but this is amazing. I can't believe it. I'm in shock. I'm in shock. I can't believe this is working like this. Like, you think about how much money the streaming things cost, and like, granted, I did have some hiccups, but I got really excited. I thought I was gonna score a goal. But once you get it working, it's great. So I can't believe this. This is amazing. I'm just curious because this is a beefier title, so I'm curious how the stream will go. Alright, seems to no. The other thing is with this one, I usually play with a keyboard and mouse, but I'll see how the controller is. Seems to be loading pretty good. Okay, load up a little slower than normal, but not bad. I'm just curious how the keyboard and mouse is. Hey, not bad at all. I'm using keyboard and mouse there, just a wireless one, but let's see how the gamepad is. Ooh, wow. It's just I mean, I know people criticize No Man's Sky, but it's just such a gorgeous game. Like, if you're just a sci-fi nerd, like, this is just really pretty. I'm not getting, like, frame drops, so that's good to see. So I'd imagine, like, your bigger titles would stream nicely with this. Alright, so this is my first time working with a Raspberry Pi, and, you know, apart from a few learning curve items that I ran into, not too bad. Just to kind of recap what we did, first, SD card, loaded Raspbian on there, installed it onto the Raspberry Pi. On my own computer, I made sure NVIDIA GeForce Experience was installed. If you're using a NVIDIA card, that will already be there. And also, just to reiterate once more, these won't work with AMD cards, unfortunately. It's only NVIDIA. So there's that. Made sure that the NVIDIA streaming was enabled. Then came back to the Raspberry Pi, opened up the command prompt, installed a bunch of little programs so that everything would work properly, updated the audio, make sure audio would go with the HDMI, which as you saw, it did work. Then we installed Moonlight, which is the open source version of the streaming software that NVIDIA uses. After that, we configured it so that the Raspberry Pi was communicating with my computer over my home network with the IP address. Then we put in the quick thing for Moonlight to open up the stream at the frame rate and resolution that I wanted and choose which app. And as you saw, I was able to plug in my USB gamepad directly to the Raspberry Pi and was able to play. I was also able to play keyboard-based games as well. So, with a little bit elbow grease, you can have your own Steam Link box or NVIDIA Shield. You figure the new NVIDIA Shield just came out and it costs $199. The Steam boxes also cost a fair bit, and for once you get all the peripherals, probably around 50 to 60 bucks, depending what you already have, what you don't have, you can have a flawless streaming experience from your computer to your TV for some living room PC gaming, which is really awesome. Like I said, I was shocked when it worked. I really was. And I did struggle a bit to get it to work properly, but honestly, the struggles I had, they were user error. That was my first time using Linux, first time using Raspberry Pi. There's a little bit of a learning curve. But after, if you're willing to put in that little extra effort, then this is totally worth it and totally awesome. And something that I didn't even think was possible with the Raspberry Pi. So this is the first of many, I'm sure, Raspberry Pi projects to come on the channel. If you liked the video, toss me a thumbs up. If you hated it, toss me a thumbs down. Leave your questions and comments below. Do you stream to your living room from your PC, or do you only rock the desk? Do you think it's kind of ironic that people that have touted the superiority of PCs now all of a sudden want a game on their couch? I think it kind of is, but I've never touted the superiority. I've always been a console gamer, so this is awesome that I might be able to do that. Find me on social media, links down below. And as I said, I will link all of the resources that I used to get this up and running down in the description. And with that, it's been another episode of Blitz City DIY. Hope you liked it. Thank you for watching. Until next time.